I'm sat in my lounge looking at a photo that my daughter brought me last week. It's from her wedding 15 years ago. And there I am in my tuxedo, looking proud as I walk her down the aisle. But what strikes me isn't how happy we look. It's how surprised I look to be there, like I couldn't quite believe I'd actually made it to this moment. I'm Frank, and I'm 81 years old. And for 30 years of my life, from age 35 to 65, I worked 60 hours a week, every week. I thought I was building a better life for my family. I was wrong. It started innocently enough. I was 35, working as a regional sales manager for a manufacturing company. Good job, steady income, but not enough to give my family everything I thought they deserved. My wife Carol was home with our 3 kids. Jennifer was 10, Michael was 8, and little Sarah was just 5. One day, my boss offered me a chance to take on additional territories. More travel, longer hours, but significantly more money. Commission structure that could double my income if I was willing to work for it. I said yes without even discussing it with Carol. In my mind, it was obvious. More money meant better schools for the kids, a bigger house, nicer vacations, college funds. I was being a good provider. So I started working 60-hour weeks, Monday through Friday in the office plus travel, Saturdays catching up on paperwork, Sundays preparing for the next week. I told myself it was temporary, just until we got ahead. 30 years later, I finally stopped. Not because I wanted to, but because they made me. Mandatory retirement at 65, and when I walked out of that office for the last time, I realized I had no idea what I was walking into. You see, while I was building my career, my family had learned to build their lives around my absence. Jennifer, my oldest, graduated valedictorian from high school. I missed her graduation speech because I was closing a deal in Phoenix that couldn't wait until Monday. Carol recorded it for me, and I watched it on our camcorder 3 weeks later, alone in my hotel room in Cleveland. Michael made varsity basketball his junior year. His first game as a starter was on a Tuesday night in February. I was supposed to be there. I had it marked on my calendar, circled in red. But a client in Detroit had an emergency, and I told Carol I'd make the next one. I never made it to any of them. By senior year, Michael had stopped telling me when his games were. Sarah was in the school play when she was 12. She played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. She'd been practicing her songs for months, and Carol said she was incredible. The performance was on a Thursday night. I was in a hotel in Atlanta, reviewing contracts. I could have flown back, should have flown back, but there was a client dinner the next morning that could seal a big deal. I missed it. I missed my little girl being Dorothy. These weren't isolated incidents. They were the pattern of my life. I missed birthday parties, Christmas mornings, I'd fly in Christmas evening, school concerts, parent-teacher conferences, family dinners, bedtime stories, goodnight kisses. I told myself I was sacrificing for them. But really, I was sacrificing them for my idea of what success looked like. The worst part wasn't the big moments I missed. It was the small ones, the daily conversations that build relationships, the casual moments when kids let their guard down and tell you what they're really thinking. When Jennifer was 16, she got her heart broken by some boy at school. She came home crying, and Carol spent 2 hours on her bed, just listening and holding her while she cried. I was in Minneapolis, celebrating landing a major account at a steakhouse with my regional team. When Michael was struggling with algebra, Carol was the one who sat with him at the kitchen table every night for 6 weeks, helping him understand fractions and equations. I was working late again, telling myself that the extra income would pay for a math tutor if needed. When Sarah was afraid of the dark and couldn't sleep, Carol was the one who read her extra stories and left the hallway light on. I was reviewing sales reports in my home office, door closed, too busy to notice my youngest daughter was scared. Carol handled everything, and she did it beautifully, but she shouldn't have had to do it alone. I convinced myself that my long hours were noble, that I was being responsible. But what I was really doing was trading time I could never get back for money that we didn't actually need. We had enough. We'd had enough when I was working 40 hours a week. The bigger house, the nicer cars, the expensive vacations, the private schools, none of those things mattered to my kids as much as having their father present mattered. But I didn't realize that until it was too late. When I retired at 65, I expected everything to go back to normal. I'd have time now. I could reconnect with my family, be the father and grandfather I'd always planned to be eventually. Except my kids were adults. Jennifer was 30, married, with 2 children of her own. Michael was 28, living across the country, building his own career. Sarah was 25, engaged, planning a wedding. They were polite to me, respectful, but distant. Not angry, just distant. Like I was a friendly acquaintance they saw at holidays, rather than someone who'd been central to their growing up. Because I hadn't been central to their growing up. I'd been absent. The hardest conversation I ever had was with Carol, about a year after I retired. We were sitting on our back deck, drinking coffee on a Saturday morning, something I'd never done during those 30 working years. And I said something about finally having time to get to know our kids better. Carol looked at me with this sad expression and said, "Frank, they're not kids anymore. You had 30 years to get to know them, and you chose work instead. They learned to live without you. They're not going to change their lives now just because you finally have time." She wasn't being cruel, she was being honest, and she was right. Jennifer's kids call me Grandpa, but they don't really know me. When I try to tell them stories or give them advice, they're polite, but not particularly interested. Why would they be? I'm essentially a stranger who shares their DNA. Michael and I talk maybe once a month, usually when Carol calls and hands me the phone. We make small talk about work and weather, but we don't really know each other as men. I missed the years when he was becoming an adult, when he needed guidance about careers and relationships and life decisions. Sarah included me in her wedding planning, but I could tell it was out of obligation, rather than because she valued my opinion. I walked her down the aisle. But that photo I mentioned, the surprised look on my face, that was me realizing that this beautiful, accomplished woman was my daughter, but I didn't really know who she'd become. I thought I was working for my family, but I was actually working instead of my family. The money I made during those 60-hour weeks, it's sitting in investment accounts now, more than we could ever spend. Money that was supposed to provide security and opportunities for people who'd learned to live without me. The promotions, the recognition, the respect from colleagues. None of that means anything when you're sitting alone at 81, realizing that the people you love most in the world see you as a peripheral figure in their lives. I'm not telling you this to get sympathy. I'm telling you this because I see men today making the same mistake I made, thinking that providing financially is the same thing as providing emotionally, believing that working harder shows love, when sometimes working less shows more love. Your kids don't need you to be the highest earner in the neighborhood. They need you to be present. They need you to know their friends' names, their favorite subjects, their fears and dreams and silly jokes. Your spouse doesn't need you to buy them expensive things. They need you to share the daily work of building a life together. They need you to be their partner, not just their provider. If you're a young father watching this, working long hours because you think it's what's best for your family, please consider this. Your children will remember whether you were there, not how much money you made. They'll remember if you knew them, not if you could afford their college tuition. I'm 81 years old. I have more money than I need and less family connection than I want. I built a successful career and failed at the things that actually matter. Don't be me. Be better. Be present. Be there for the small moments, because those are the moments that build relationships. Work to live, don't live to work. Because at the end of your life, no one's going to remember how many hours you spent at the office, but they'll remember whether you spent time with them. If this story hits close to home, please share it and let me know in the comments. What's one thing you can do this week to choose family over work? Sometimes the smallest changes make the biggest difference.